Go. Hi, Colleen. So would you mind introduce yourself in terms of your job position, about your disability?
I'm the programming coordinator at the Carleton Disability Awareness Center. It's a CUSA service center here on campus, and I've been here since last September.
So what is your responsibility?
So basically, I do a little bit of everything, but mainly I deal with programming events for the center. So Critical Awareness Week, Wheelchair Challenge. Like in 2 weeks, we're having a disabled breakdancer named Luca Lazy Legs come. So like pretty much anything like that that's related, and I do a lot of like class talks and things like that as well.
Okay. Do you mind telling me how do you get this job?
How I got this job? Well, I became familiar with CDAC when I came to Carleton as a frosh. I was introduced to CDAC, and so I started volunteering in my first year. And then I found out, the summer before my third year, that there was going to be a job opening. So I just applied, and apparently they liked me.
What is your overall opinion regarding if Carleton has accommodating enough for people with disability?
Well, in terms of my job here, I feel very accommodated. I mean, I work for the Student Association, and they have policies in place to protect my work environment. Make it free from discrimination, all those things. But beyond that, I work in a center that is physically accessible to me, and should I have required any sort of accessible technology or things like that would have been, that would be, there's ways in which it can be provided. Like it might take a bit of time, but they will work to accommodate you. As far as a larger Carleton community, I feel like Carleton is working hard and it's getting better. There's obviously some things I would love to change, but they are continually working on accessibility. So.
Okay. What are some of the barriers, some specific barrier that you face in terms of, where you work? Or frustrations?
I would say that probably the biggest barrier I face in any job that I've had, including this one, is just physical. So I'm lucky enough that within this office it's pretty well set up for my needs, and I know that I can arrange it in a way that is accessible to me. But obviously there's other places on campus that are less accessible, and so it can kind of pose a problem when you're trying to hold events, when you have to think about this space is free to use, or but it's not accessible, or we have to pay to use the space. And so there's certainly those kind of challenges. And then there are definitely in some cases challenges when dealing with attitudes of people. Some people, whether they say it or not, not necessarily within the organization itself, but just within the larger population, don't necessarily see the value of disabled people working. They may not feel like I have the right qualifications, or whatever the issue may be. So certainly sometimes I feel like my judgment is called into question more than say others.
So what do you think, what kind of needs or what kind of accommodation that are required in order to fight with people's opinion, or accommodation that will help you have a little bit easier, make your work easier?
I would say when dealing with physical barriers, I mean just organizations and employers taking steps to make those physical accommodations. Though I will say there is limited funding for people to make those accommodations. So on a larger spectrum, I would love to see some sort of funding opportunities for small businesses to increase their accessibility, because I don't feel like employers are saying we don't want to hire disabled people. They're saying, I can't hire you because I can't afford to accommodate you. And so that's where I see that I would love that improvement. And as far as dealing with people's attitude, it kind of just takes time, right? So I just have to be willing to have the patience and be willing to show people what I'm able to do, and also be willing to to deal with it if they never see the full value of my work. I have to understand that that's more of a representation on them than it is on me. So it's a bit of a game there, but
We're good?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.